Hi Peter, so why do you say that garlic is a miracle herb?
Well, you know, the history of garlic goes back thousands and thousands of years, particularly into ancient Egypt, where it was mentioned in 20 remedies in a very famous papyrus called the Codex Ebers. So we've known that garlic has great flavour, but it's also been used as a medicine by virtually every culture in the world. And consequently, we've learnt over the years exactly what it can do for human health to keep people fit and healthy.
And what are the limitations of raw garlic?
Well, you know, raw garlic can be quite aggressive to the back of the throat and to the esophagus, so it's never a good idea to eat lots of raw garlic. Also, you're never going to get enough of the active ingredient, which is called allicin, into your bloodstream by eating raw or cooked garlic. For example, you'd have to consume about 40 heads of garlic in a week to be able to get anywhere near the same amount of allicin into your bloodstream as you can get from just one capsule a day of some of my garlic formulations.
And your solution is?
Well, it's basically stabilised allicin. I led a team in the UK who were the first to be able to completely stabilise this active agent called allicin. So when garlic is cut or crushed, two precursor chemicals unite, and the first thing they release is allicin. It's normally a very unstable chemical, but my team were able to capture the allicin and able to deliver it to the body in a way that it can be very, very beneficial for general health and well-being in terms of helping infection, cholesterol, blood pressure, all sorts of things really.
Peter, what exactly is stabilized allicin?
Well, stabilised allicin is basically our compound which is extracted from fresh garlic. It's then stabilised by reducing its concentration with water. We don't use any nasty chemicals or anything like that. And we end up with a stabilised solution which has lots of fantastic clinical properties. That means we can then make it into a capsule, into a powder, and also into a topical formulation as well.
And what is so unique about your Diabalife formulations?
Well, Diabalife is our first formula designed specifically for diabetes. There are a number of ingredients there, but the allicin obviously is the main ingredient, the main driver of benefit, and in terms of helping diabetics, that's type 1 and type 2 diabetics, the allicin is very good at controlling HbA1c levels. This is a measure of sugar bound to hemoglobin, and that's what is most important for diabetic control. But the other agents are also very, very beneficial for reducing insulin resistance and ensuring that glucose tolerance is in the normal levels.
So how does Diabalife work for diabetes prevention and care?
That's a really good question. The important thing to understand is that there's a massive problem in the world today with what's known as pre-diabetes. So generally people's diets around the world are much worse than they were, and consequently there are more obese people in the world than there ever have been. This leads to a case of pre-diabetes, which is the leading up to a problem in the system where you develop type 2 diabetes, which is controlled usually by diet and pharmaceutical drugs. The idea behind Diabalife is that people can prevent that from happening. The Diabalife will allow them to absorb more nutrients and vitamins from the food they digest. It will reduce insulin resistance and therefore prevent this pre-diabetes condition.
And who, in your opinion, should take Diabalife?
Well, it's quite a lot of people really. In reality, it's obviously all type 1 diabetics like me. I've been type 1 diabetic for 45 years. Type 2 diabetics, they're obviously perfect for treatment here. And also anyone in this pre-diabetes category, or anybody who feels that they carry far too much weight around. There are certain things they can do to reduce their risk. But the important thing is to prevent this pre-diabetes from taking control and developing a type 2 or a type 1 diabetic situation.
And finally, Peter, what is your message to the people of India?
Well, you know, unfortunately India is developing a reputation as being the centre for diabetes. There are more than 62 million people already diagnosed, and what we know from statistics is that for every one diagnosed, there's another one that hasn't been diagnosed yet. So potentially in India alone, there could be as many as 130 million diabetics or pre-diabetics. That's a major problem, because diabetics have much higher rates of cardiovascular disease, they have much higher rates of poor immune systems, of not being able to fight off simple infections. The Diabalife will allow them to benefit from all of these conditions by reducing their risk. And therefore my message to the people of India is try it, it won't cause any side effects, and it should help you significantly.